Hey, what's going on, Podcast Nation? It is Jason Harris here, and thank you for joining me in another episode of Strategy with Jason. We're here at NADA 2025. We made it. It may have been a little bit of a struggle, right?
And it was a little bit treacherous when you're here if you had to walk anywhere, that's for sure.
That is true. There was ice falling off buildings. Anyways, I'm here with the one, the only, the oh so famous, he paid me to say that, Todd Katcher. I got Todd with me. Todd, what's going on, man? How you doing?
It's always good to see you.
With Digital Dealership Systems.
That's correct. Correct.
There's always a fun story. I'm going to have to share for another one how me, Todd, actually met. I had a company, it was Digital Dealership Solutions.
Right.
And we would actually get support calls for him.
Back and forth.
I think he got support calls from us. And we one day called each other and said, hey, what the hell do you do?
What do we do? Why are we crossing paths here? Yeah, exactly.
Well, man, hey, I'm glad I had a chance to come out, jam with you, and just catch up with you, man.
Yeah,
I mean, I know there's a lot of cool things going on in your world, and I've always been a fan of what you guys do and the displays that you guys have put together. It just puts data right there in front, so that it's always actionable. But for everybody out there watching and listening right now, who don't know what Digital Dealership Systems is, give me kind of that like, hey, this is the problem I saw, and I had this aha moment. This is how I try to solve it. Let's start there.
Oh, man, it goes back many, many years. We had a dealer who was a friend of mine when I used to own bars in Nashville, and he said, we've been doing this how do we put this marketing in front of our customers in the store? And that really came over to the same thing where we looked at everything the store was doing, and we went ahead and said to them, hey, what other things are you doing in the store that we could digitize? And that's where we kind of went to our leaderboard, because dealers, even today, they're drawing on dry erase boards. They're going ahead drawing on windows and things like that, and really doing something like, it's just very antiquated.
Yes.
And so we want to modernize all that stuff that they're doing manually and really come into, the 2000s, but here we are in 2025, and dealers are still using dry erase boards.
That's true.
And updating things manually, or printing reports and handing them out to their team, or even better yet, we had a dealer who takes a printed report and then sticks it to a dry erase board, and that's how they update the dry erase board. So, the concept of that, whenever you have a system set up like that, you're looking at reports from the past, right?
Yes.
As soon as you print a report, it's kind of like a car. As soon as you drive it off the lot, it loses half its value, right? So as soon as you print a report, those numbers are bad. They're old.
Exactly.
So especially if you look at fixed ops, right? Because a fixed ops department that's doing 1,000, 2,000 ROs in a month.
Constantly
so many. So an hour goes by, how many ROs have changed their position? How many tickets have been resolved in that hour? And how does your efficiency change, or how does your effective labor rate change in that amount of time? So it's constantly changing. And if you want to report on staff from the past, that's fine. But if you want to influence how they're acting today
in real time, I think that's the key, right?
Exactly. So our systems are connected directly to the DMS, showing the reports that dealers find value in to the people that are actually speaking to customers and actually wrenching and actually selling cars. Those are the people that are going to make the influence and make the changes that are going to increase the profits for the stores. And that's the difference.
100%. And I think what's really cool, guys, if you're watching and listening, is that the ability to kind of manage and track these micro objectives.
Yes.
Right? Too often we're setting these objectives, and maybe in sales we're a little better. So maybe we have like day 10 and maybe day 20 and then day 30, right? But like for most part, they're 30-day objectives, and we almost kind of wait till the end of the month to find out if we actually hit the objective.
Sure.
With your guys' solution, because it's in real time and I can visually see it, I can make these almost like half-day or midday objectives, and really kind of see like, am my team on track? Because those little wins end up adding up to being big wins.
Yeah,
right?
Really, great feedback. We had a customer who we created some reports for in our system as we get dealership feedback, and they wanted a weekly report of how their team is doing. So we have a daily tracker, but what we did, we started doing weekly because they get paid weekly.
Oh,
so we have a weekly icon tracker now that has the little icons of all the cars that they sell, but has a week total, and then it has what they're trending for the month. So we're breaking down, in general, we do have reports that have that for a long time, but dealers wanted to see it differently. And the great thing about our board is that, like our Sales Leaderboard Pro program, they have 30 different reports to choose from. Not only do they have them available on the desktop, but they also have them available on the screens. So now they know where their performance is. You put your goals in, and they see how they're trending. And we just created a new module called coaching. And that coaching actually allows them to determine when was the last time this person sold a car?
Okay.
So they could see if there's problems ahead of time, as opposed to waiting at the end of the month. So now you can say,
cool.
okay, alert me when somebody hasn't sold a car in 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, whatever that is.
Yeah, because
so now
they need a little extra help, right?
What's going on with you? Let's have a
Exactly.
conversation. You haven't sold a car in a couple. So now it's on the screen, so now they know, and the managers have access to it. They also know if they're below a goal. So normally with a goal board, you put the people that are closest to the goal at the top.
Sure.
With our coaching goal board, we put them on the bottom, because they're meeting their goals.
Well,
the coaching
that
opportunities
raises the whole team, right?
Yeah, the coaching opportunities are for the people that are not meeting their goals.
I like
They're
that.
not trending correctly. And so now we have coaching module built into our system. So it allows you more proactive approach to make your sales and fix better, instead of waiting till the end of the month.
You know what's funny is the more I think that's, and then dive into some of your solutions.
Sure.
It's like, I mean, I understand it's digital dealership systems, and you started with kind of this, but man, you've gone so much farther.
Yeah.
To really, I mean, it's a pulse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean,
That's
I
what we're
mean,
at.
as a dealer, funny enough, no pun, but it does. As a dealer, it allows me to keep a pulse on the business, which just happens to be the name of a new solution that you guys just came out with.
Yeah, we actually rebranded what we had as leaderboards before as Pulse. And we say because it's the heartbeat of your dealership.
100%.
And so the idea is that when you look at the aspects of your store, without revenue, you don't have much of a store. No. So pretty pictures on screens only do so well until you have to sell cars and pay bills.
That's right.
So by putting everything all under Pulse, we're different than just a dashboard, because we have different components. So most dashboard dealerships, every application, your CRM has a dashboard, your DMS has a dashboard, everything has a dashboard. Your different products that you use personally all have dashboards. You can log into your bank. They call it a dashboard. We went beyond a dashboard because we're the only provider that has TV solutions, desktop solutions, and mobile solutions. So you could put the reports that you want on screens facing your staff that are actually have their hands on the wrenches, interacting with customers, selling cars, servicing vehicles, and they see their numbers and their performance updated every 15 minutes. Yes. Then you have the desktop component. Now you have desktop component for managers, so they can dig in deeper on their staff. They can look at their business as a whole, and then their staff can also log in and see how they're doing securely without seeing how everyone else is doing. But they know how they're ranking. They could dig deep into their history. They could drill down into individual deals or the ROs that they've done. And then they also can go ahead and see where they're tracking, trending their KPIs individually. And so then they also have the mobile component. And the mobile component, your sales staff can get notified whenever anybody in the dealership does a deal, and they're like, well, why haven't I done a deal yet today? So it gives them a little kick in the butt, but they know where they're standing and where they're ranking all the time. And their staff does it. Your fixed ops can know where they're ranking.
Yes.
So you set goals. You can set goals you got to calculate in your head, but if you have some sort of visual representation of those goals, you see dollar signs. And if you could motivate your team with an extra couple $100 for meeting their goals, everybody comes up a little bit higher as well.
Well, and I think that's what's really cool about what you guys have done, because the data is only as good as how you can take action on it. Right. And honestly, I mean, Todd, you could have just stopped. I mean, you could have. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, because you would have just been able to present the data and then let the dealers kind of take their action on it. Yeah. But I just love how dealer-centric your brain works. Because you're like, well, yeah, but I can push my dev team just to go a little bit farther, and I can actually at least identify some actionable insights for them in real time, so things can actually change.
Dealers have tons of tools. Their CRM, their DMS, if they have programs like Accessa, Stone Eagle, or any of those prog data, there are all these programs that have KPI data, but that's after the fact.
Yeah, and keeping it in front of them, I think, is key, right? Like, so just, I mean, I just want to kind of really highlight that for everybody out there watching and listening, is that we have big screens, like these things behind me, and those are amazing, right? Then I have my desktop, and then I think most importantly, and you are, by the way, guys, it is super sexy. You do have to take a look at this. Then this bad boy, which how many hours a day? Actually, I hate to admit it because I got the notification the other day. It said I spent 5.5 hours a day staring at this thing. I'm like, eesh. But you know, you do the same thing here. So it doesn't matter where I'm at, you know, where I'm in the dealership, if I'm walking around, or if I'm out of the side of the dealership, or if I'm in my office, or I'm with my team on the big screen, the data's there, and it's just like everybody's just, we all know where we're at. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have to, I mean, think about how it used to be, right? Like, it was my day off once, maybe, and I'd call into my managers. Hey guys, how we doing? Where are we at?
Right.
What's up? Why is that person not doing this?
Right. Right.
Now I don't need to do that. Just open up my phone.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, and I think that one of the things that we've done differently than those other tools is make everything very easy.
Yes.
So when I've done demos today at NADA and yesterday, we've been really busy doing the interactive demos and showing people how it actually works. And they have, like I said, all these other reports, but ours is just a click to get all the data, because as I was speaking to dealers, they have these reports, but they want it simpler. And all these CRMs and DMSs, they're great tools. And these analysis tools, like those reverse risk or Accessor, Stone Eagle, those tools are great tools. They just serve a different purpose. You're a general sales manager at your store, or your fixed ops manager, or however you manage it, the people that are actually talking to dealers, interacting with your staff, they need simple tools.
Well, they need simple tools, but they also need tools for them specifically. And that's another thing that I think that, again, I just wildly appreciate your approach to this, is because, again, you could have just presented the data, but no. You went as far as making sure the data can be presented in a way that's more valuable to the manager, to the dealer principal, to the used car manager, to the fixed ops manager, to the salesperson, to the service advisor, right? So it's like everybody is utilizing this and being able to kind of just see where they are and where the dealerships are and if we're on track.
Yeah, that's right. And so the other programs that are out there are really focused on management, owners, platform managers, and our system is appealing more towards the staff and then up to the management of that staff directly. So if you think of different layers that there are, but if you are a fixed ops director or you are a platform manager, you could have all of our stuff. So you could have our enterprise version of this. You could go ahead and have a login and go from store to store in a single sign-in, or you could have one that says store versus store 1 versus store 2 versus store 3, and you could group your stores together and have analytics based on that as well.
How awesome is that?
It make it very easy to use and on screen. So if you're a platform manager over 10 stores, let's say, and you're in your office, you could go ahead and look up on the board and see, you don't have to run reports. You have all the reports up on a screen. So while you're doing something, you could go ahead and see how your stores are performing at any given time just by looking up. You don't have to get into your DMS to see around. So it's a need base, right? So dealerships, like we have one program that we just released for reports. And we had a fixed ops manager that was spending 4 hours closing out his month. Manually, and that's standard because they had to pull data from multiple places on the fixed. Now it's automated in our system. They just hit print and they go ahead and turn it into their GM.
It gives all the information the GM needs to go ahead and finish off his month. That's
exactly.
Awesome. That's
so
awesome.
While the GM may have all that information, the CRM and DMS, they still want to print a report. We now include those types of reports on the desktop, as well as the reports that motivate your team. So we're appealing to both aspects, but again, making it very simple and automated, because all the data updates every 15 minutes. And again, if you're trying to close out that month from last month, you want to be accurate, but you want to show all the details. So we worked with some stores to go ahead and create the reports that they were turning in, and it's all automated for them now.
That's another thing. And I mean, like another thing I've always kind of appreciated about your approach to even just support is that, right? It's like, okay, well, I don't have it. But I can see that could benefit many of our clients. Let's go ahead and build it, right? So I again, that's another, because that's kind of the partner I'm looking for, really, at the end of the day, right?
I mean, just here today, talking to fixed ops director, one guy had 17 stores, and he's like, well, I'd really like for it to do this. And I'm like, great. Let's go ahead and work that into our system, because it's all about building value for our customers, right? And we may not be the fit for everyone, so we do allow them to add their own reports to our system. But at the same time, we want to go ahead and we want to talk to dealers, understand what they're looking for, and then build products for them. So many companies get lost and build products without what dealers think. I really want to go to the dealer, say, what are you looking for? That's why I enjoy NADA so much, as frustrating as it can be at times and how challenging it can be. The goal is to really get out there, talk to dealers, even if they don't buy our product. This is a great opportunity. We had over 300 people stop by the booth yesterday.
Wow.
So, and then today even more on Saturday. So, and that's with this bad weather. And it's just those conversations that have so much value to our product development that I think some of these larger companies, they get lost and they're building products that the customers really don't want. And then they force their salespeople to go ahead and sell products that dealers don't even want. So we're really developing based on our experience. Like we had one thing that we added that we launched here called Pulse AI. I wanted to tell you about this because it's super exciting. And we've had dealers say, I want to know more about my data, but every dealer wants something different. And so we partnered with Meta, and we worked with them to keep the information secure, but then allow dealers to literally ask any question they want of their data and get a response back from the Meta AI application.
Okay.
So it took us about 6 months to work with them, their engineers, and get this developed, and then and keep it partitioned, right?
So now I can go and question it. If I wanted to know, I don't know, what was going on 6 months ago.
You could ask. You could say, what's our top vehicle that we serviced over the last 6 months?
Yeah.
Or over the last 3 months, over the last 20 days. You know, we call it Pulse AI, question your data, because it's your data.
I like that.
Now
That's
you can
very
ask
cool.
whatever questions you want of your data and get a real live answer, because you might be able to get that from a CRM or DMS, but how?
Well,
You're
not,
gonna
not
run
with
some
that
sort of
speed.
unique report.
It wouldn't be with that speed at all.
Right.
You know, and everything is just about speed.
It's
right?
all about reports. So
Yes.
they have all the data, but how do you actually use it in a way that's functional for you? And so we kind of figured that out with Pulse AI.
Well, that's taking like custom reporting to like a whole other level.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I'm like, so what's the mileage of my most profitable car that I'm servicing?
yeah.
Oh crap!
Ask that
Okay,
data. Ask those
hey,
questions.
marketing department, we need to market to more of these cars and this mileage because I'm making the most amount of money on those.
Yeah,
right.
You could ask those questions, and it will go ahead and look at only your information. We wanted to make sure we kept everything secure. I mean, part of the 6 month turn was questioning and answering that and programming the AI. I mean, we had to tell it that when we asked for a vehicle, what actually a vehicle meant, right?
Yes.
Vehicle is year, make, and model.
Yep.
Or at least make and model, right?
Yep.
So when we say what is a vehicle, or like what vehicle did we service the most, we need to know exactly what it is. Not just say if you're a Ford store, it comes back and says Ford, because it assumed it did. Like it is like training a kid. So like when we asked it originally that before we trained it, we said what vehicle did we service the most, and it was a Ford store as a demo store. It came back and said Ford.
Makes sense.
When you say vehicle, you're looking for a make and model, right? So then it's like Ford F-150 or Ford, whatever that vehicle was.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, which vehicle do we have the most revenue from? And then it understands which vehicle has the most revenue. So it understands the term vehicle versus make and model, because people don't use those terms.
Sure.
So, but if you say what non-Ford do we service most?
There you go.
And maybe it could answer that question, right? So, and again, we're learning. It's learning.
This is custom reporting at a whole nother level. I mean,
Yeah.
it is super cool. Look, I know we're getting towards the tail end of our time.
I appreciate
But
that.
I mean, I think for everybody out there watching, listening right now, who would love to like really learn more about this and the other solutions that are available,
Sure.
What's the best way for them to learn more?
Yeah, so just our website, digitaldealershipsystem.com. And then for me personally, if they want to connect with me on LinkedIn, I get a lot of action on LinkedIn with people saying, hey, I want a demo or stuff like that. So feel free to reach out to me directly there. But through the website, you can schedule, you can learn about everything that we're doing. We keep that up to date, and we try to do the best we can to be on the socials as much as possible.
And Todd, guys, is really good about this. I mean, I truly do say reach out to him because he will reply back to you. Hey, for everybody out there watching and listening, we really appreciate you. Todd, this has been an absolute blast. Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Y'all have yourselves amazing.